What's up, everybody? How is everyone doing? Sorry for the delay on actually starting the stream. For some reason my screen wasn't showing me that live was working. Hopefully the audio is good. Hopefully you can all hear me. And of course we start off with the stream by saying I'm drinking beer as usual, Pilsner. Run out of most of the Christmas drinks. We've still got some Disaronno left, but other than that we're back to the beer by the looks of it, unless I decide to get a little bit fancy. Thank you everyone for joining the stream. We've got Matthew Berry first to join the chat. Hashtag join the flock. Exactly, Matthew, exactly. Steve Shotton in the chat. How are you doing? Good evening to you. Cario Lou, Jan Iver Jacobson in from Norway. Derek's channel. Matthew Berry already straightened the questions. I'll get to your question in a second. Marata and Stones, or for me, more questions. Thomas McCarthy, how you doing? Daraj, how you doing? Alan Arjaninovich is in the chat as well. Another Hoops. And Seb Hodson is also in the chat. So thank you guys so much for joining. Just a few things to cover before we do start off the stream proper. First of all, just get a bit of advertising out of the way. If you want to support the channel in any way, there is of course the link to Patreon in the description down below, which you can go and join to and subscribe to a certain amount a month, from $1 a month or up, to support the channel and help me continue to do this streams and the videos. And you can also sponsor the stream if you want to directly support the stream. We have one of the guys, Blessing a Rolo, from the chat that actually is a sponsor, so thank you so much to him, and thank you so much to all my patrons that support me. There is of course also Super Chat if you want to support today with a one-off payment, which would be much appreciated. Anything that can help is great. Also, of course, if you go to my other channel, J&O, we have restarted Football Manager on that channel with Ajax in an Elite Journeyman series where we try and win titles in each of the major leagues in Europe. So go check that out if you have any extra time and you want to watch more of this ugly mug. And also, the final bit of news, we were on the Fantasy Football Surgery podcast this week. If you go to my Twitter, and hopefully I might be able to put a link of it in the chat at some point as well, and I'll try and put a link in the description when this video goes live later. I was on the chat with Iceman and, oh, what was his name? He was the stand-in host, but I've forgotten his name already. That's bad. Big Time or something like that. He was filling in for Bully, but I was on there, and it's about an hour and 25 minutes of good advice and stuff from not just me, but some people I consider friends in the community from the podcast scene, so go check that out as well. Anyway, let's get into what you're actually here for. Let's get into the questions about Game Week 23 after what was a disappointing Game Week 22, but we have had some time now to think about our teams. We've also had some transfers take place, like Van Dijk and Coutinho, and let's see what everyone is thinking in the chat. The first question comes from Matthew Berry. Lingard in for Arnautovic. I'm tempted by Lingard, I'll admit to that. There is a worry amongst the community, and it was in the podcast which you talked about, where people think the trapdoor is going to open under all the people that have bought in Lingard and he won't continue this form. However, Joshua King wasn't meant to continue his form. Riyad Mahrez and Jamie Vardy, the season Leicester won the Premier League, weren't meant to continue their form. Harry Kane, when he first burst onto the scene, wasn't meant to carry on his form. So it is possible Lingard could be the in-form player of this season, the cheap player that you need to have in your team. At one point I thought it was Richarlison, at one point I thought it was Grosh. Right now Lingard looks a very good option. However, in for Arnautovic, you're not particularly saving any money. The issue with Arnautovic, of course, is that he did pick up a slight knock. Carroll is back as well, so it's a bit worrying about if he's actually going to play. So if you want a certainty of game time, Lingard may be a better option, although he isn't certain of playing either. But with Carroll coming in, I think that could affect Arnautovic's position, although he was shown on the heat map to be further forward than Carroll for most of the game they played together. I personally am looking to bring in Lingard for someone else to beef up my funds, to maybe bring in Aguero. That is what I'm looking to do. But the thing is, with West Ham have the easiest run of fixtures if you just consider the next 5, with Huddersfield, Bournemouth, Palace, Brighton Hove Albion, Watford. Now, I fancy a West Ham player in that gap, in that space of 5 fixtures. Definitely attacking-wise, West Ham seem to still be able to offer something to us this season. The only team with what I'd consider a comparable run of fixtures is Chelsea, with Leicester, Brighton Hove Albion, Bournemouth, Watford and West Bromwich Albion. So I am a little bit worried about the lack of Chelsea coverage I've got. Lingard in, I'd say yes, but for Arnautovic, depends if you really need to make sure you've got a starter. If you can manage at least one game week where he might not play, Arnautovic could be a shout for some big points. Steve Shotton, Morata and Stones, or Firmino and Otamendi. I would favour Firmino and Otamendi purely because of form, as well as Otamendi's proven himself as a potential to goal score as well as keep clean sheets. Stones is definitely a good choice. He saves you some cash, which I am looking at and considering, but I do like Otamendi, so I'm not sure I want to do that. And Morata has not been in the form of his life. He's still settling in. This is his first season, of course, so that could change at any moment. But Morata isn't someone I'm looking at bringing in, so you can take from that what you will. Thomas McCarthy's on the homebrew. Nice, Thomas. Steve Shotton's on the gin and tonic again. Mr. Gin Man. People watching Chelsea-Arsenal. I'm not watching it, unfortunately. I've got streams to do. I've got all sorts to get sorted out. So, yeah. I'm not actually doing any streaming or anything like that. I mean, watching any games or anything like that. Hopefully one day when this takes off, as I'm hoping it might do, I can like just watch every game and stream around it. But right now I've got to stream when I can, and that's when my daughter's in bed. And unfortunately night games and my daughter's bedtime, exact same time, but never mind. Another Hoops is in the chat. How you doing, Another Hoops? Thomas McCarthy saying please like and share. Daraj drinking Jameson's. Cheers, my man. Thank you for the support on Twitter around the pod as well. I saw all of that. Thank you very much. Up the pod. Derek's channel, Mahrez or Hazard. Now, I've made it very clear that I think Mahrez can't keep up his point scoring form. But he has proven me wrong by continuing to score points. Eden Hazard has failed to impress recently, as have Chelsea just in general. But Hazard is the type of player that can be quite explosive. Mahrez is under transfer scrutiny at the moment, could potentially be moving to Liverpool if what I've heard is true. Price-wise, you're saving almost 2 million by having Mahrez over Hazard, which could be spent elsewhere. Also, security of starts, because of the lack of fixtures for Leicester, Mahrez is nearly always going to start for Leicester as long as he stays there. There's been 3 goals for Mahrez to the 1 goal for Hazard. Assists, that's not right. There we go, total assists. We've got 3 assists for 1 assist. So Mahrez wins on both accounts of actually scoring big points in the game. As far as bonus points, you're looking at, it's about here or there. At the moment Mahrez is winning, but in a game the baseline bonus points is actually better for Hazard. Goal involvement, of course, is much higher for Mahrez. As far as actual goals, minutes per goal, 164 minutes per goal for Mahrez, 387 minutes per goal for Eden Hazard. Although Eden Hazard does have more attempts per minute, 25.8 to 44.7. However, the shot accuracy is in the favour of Mahrez, 63.6 to 33.3. And also the goal conversion is naturally in his favour as well. However, minutes per chance created, Hazard does win that as well, 32 to 45. But he hasn't made as many big chances. Mahrez making 4 to Hazard's 1. If we have a look at the fixtures, though, Chelsea do have a very good run of Leicester, Brighton, Hove Albion, Bournemouth, Watford, and West Bromwich Albion, whereas Leicester have Chelsea next. Then it's Watford, Everton, Swansea, which isn't too bad, but then it's Manchester City away as well. So not the easiest fixtures for Leicester, but Leicester are quite good at scoring goals. If I had to go with one, I'd say Mahrez right now, because you could always make up for not having Hazard elsewhere, Alonso being an option. So I personally don't think Hazard is essential. I think De Bruyne is cheaper and just as likely to score similar points. So I would say Mahrez over Hazard. Siraj, how you doing, my man? Thank you for joining the chat. Keith Edwards, time for 4-5-1. I think generally you want 5 midfielders no matter what. 3-5-2 or 4-5-1 seems to be the way everyone is going at the moment. Thomas McCarthy says hello to Siraj. Alan Arjadinovic, how can I improve my team? Pope, Otamendi, Masuaku, Alonso, Pogba for one game week instead of Salah. Lingard, Gross, Mahrez, Sterling, Kane, Aguero. I think you've got the 2 strikers everyone wants in Kane and Aguero, now that Aguero is likely to be the starter. You've got Sterling as well, which is good. Salah is replaced just by Pogba for one game week. You've got Lingard, so who are Man United actually playing in the next one? Stoke, which is a decent game, so that's good. Pope, Otamendi, I think Masuaku isn't necessary because West Ham, I think the clean sheet glitch happened with West Ham and they're not likely to keep him much longer. Alonso is good to have, so I like your team in general. Gross could maybe be just made someone cheaper and then you could spend more on a Masaka replacement. Item AB, switch out Ali or Son. That's a difficult one because they're both, in my eyes, got potential to score. If you have both, that's a difficult decision. If I actually have a look at both quickly, the points are very similar. Game time, I believe, at the moment is very similar, although Son, no, very similar game time. So we're going to have to look into the underlying stats. So if we compare Ali to Son, okay, so heat map shows him around the same distance forward, but Son of course stays wider than Dele Alli does. Son actually looks like he wins the underlying stats battle though. We've got goals 3-2 in Son's favour. We've got assists 4-2, however, in Dele Alli's favour. We've got goal involvement in Ali's favour, 50-42. However, bonus points, Son is in favour of Ali. Minutes per goal, Son has scored quicker than Ali has. Minutes per attempt is the other way round. Shot accuracy, however, is in Son's favour. And then minutes per chance created is, of course, in Ali's favour. Literally, the way it stands is Dele Alli is more likely to get assists. Son is more likely to get goals. For a midfielder, goals trump assists. So, especially with price as well considered, because I believe there's a significant price difference in the two of them. Yeah, you're saving 0.9 million on Son. So I would take out Ali for Son, because then you could have a stronger side around Heung-min Son than you could around Dele Alli. Okay, another hoops. I'm thinking about taking a hit this week. Pogba and Maguire out for Lingard and Alonso. What do you think? I like that. I do like Pogba as a player, and I like Maguire as well, but there's now transfer rumours around Maguire. So I would say Lingard and Alonso are a safer bet. Seb wants a 1 week punt for a midfielder. So if I look at the fixtures and the form, I don't like looking at just 1 week, just in case you force your hand in another transfer. West Ham, Lanzini or Arnautovic aren't too bad a go because they've got Huddersfield. We've got Brighton against West Bromwich Albion, but then Chelsea straight after. Watford, I know Richarlison's not in the flavour of the month anymore, but Southampton, Leicester, Stoke. Huddersfield have West Ham and then Stoke, so maybe someone like Moy is Quedido. No, he was Brighton, wasn't he? Who's Huddersfield midfield? Knockout, Ince, I believe. Or am I saying Brighton players again? Let me have a look at Huddersfield, because I always do this. I get their players mixed up because I don't know their players that well. So we want Huddersfield. So we've got Moy, Ince. I'd say that's it. I was naming Brighton players. So you literally got Moy and Ince. I would only look at Moy from Huddersfield. Ince seems to fail to score a lot. Other than that, you could look at Newcastle or Swansea, but I wouldn't. And maybe, no, I wouldn't even look at Palace. So I'd say Moy or a West Ham player are the only punts I'd really be looking at. Jan Alva Jacobson still working on his wild card. Tommy P is in the chat. How you doing? By the way, if anyone's joined the chat and you haven't subscribed, now would be the time to do so. You should see your name pop up on the screen. And of course, if anyone wants to support the channel, links in the description, and you can of course sponsor and super chat the stream. Duraj, I'll keep Ellie and Ericsson versus Everton, carry over my free transfer this week, and then see how to fit Alonso with Ali and Son money. I'm considering carrying a transfer over for the same reason, because if I look at my team right now, from my experience on the pod, the host is the Everton nutritionist, so he says Kenny is likely to play. Some insider knowledge, which is always nice to have, but it is against Spurs, so I'm more likely to do that. 4 in defence. I know Otamendi, Liverpool. I never know what's going to happen in a Liverpool Man City game. I think I would need Salah on the pitch, just in case he plays. I might wait until I hear a bit more, but 75% chance of playing in this kind of game. But who would I take him out for? Would I take him out for Richarlison? I mean, Abraham, I don't need any more. Like, he's just going to sit over there. Elliot is still a worry. So I'm literally stuck with Pope in goal at the moment. But I feel like I could get away with not making a transfer this week. The only worry for me is that Man City are capable of romping home against Liverpool, in my eyes. And to be honest, Liverpool are capable of scoring a few goals against Man City either. I can't predict that game. So I may just hold my transfer, because the players I'm really looking at are Alonso and Aguero. Both expensive. Siraj doesn't have much time to be on. He's got his exams. Wish you the best of luck in your exams, Siraj. Hopefully we'll be calling you Doctor soon. Steve Shotton is Juve a viable third striker option after Man U? New manager in place, then a good run to week 30. I would say no initially, purely because you don't know that new manager is going to want to play Juve at all. I never jump on a club with a new manager until I've got a better idea of who he wants to play. Just like I don't really jump on transfers too early. I know a lot of people are going for that Van Dijk at Liverpool. Whilst I do like it and think it shows some FPL promise, I won't be jumping on it straight away. Siraj is looking to bring in Sanchez if he goes to City, but he prays he doesn't. If he goes to City, it's going to be interesting to see if he rotates with Aguero or not, or if he does play left or right, which would affect Sterling or Sane. I think I saw some happy birthdays for someone, but I will get there. I think we're overlooking Lanzini. I think I prefer him over Arnie. That's true. And Lanzini is a great player. And when I watch West Ham, when Lanzini plays, he's always shown the promise to be the player that really makes that team tick. So I would definitely not undermining Lanzini. But I knew Lanzini had a lengthy period off because of the red card. Or the red card that was given to him, or the ban that was given to him after the fact of diving. So that's why I've got Arnie in my side. Kiko Dantes, best channel by far, sir. Wildcard, best end of January, or wait? Again, this is something we spoke about in the pod. I really would suggest that you go and listen to the pod It would be great for me to show the Surgery Boys what kind of effect I can now have on their viewership as well. So go listen to the pod. It is really good content, and they've both got great opinions, and it's good to bounce ideas off of other players that rank regularly. We discussed the wildcard. The best time to use the wildcard is depending on your circumstances. If your team is in dire need of surgery, plug there, then go and use your wildcard and try and pick the best team you can right now. Ideally, you'd want to wait until the transfer window is over, so at least you can see who's gone where, who's playing, who's not playing, that kind of thing. However, a lot of players are going to use it before a double game week to take advantage of the double game week. So just be wary of that, because they're going to have as many players as they can that are playing 2 games in a row. If you can plan ahead, that might not affect you too badly. But if you don't plan ahead and you don't have that wild card, you could see your rank drop significantly in 2 game weeks. Because usually there's at least 2 game weeks which have a considerable amount of double games. So again, I would say best time to use your wild card is depending on your team. But if you can, save it for as long as you can. Daraj, Stoke are having a nice screen, difficult fixtures, but I need to know favourites from new manager. Exactly, Daraj. Until I know who that manager's going to play, he may decide Shaqiri's rubbish. I don't know. TP is back in the chat. How you doing, TP? Replacements for Austin. I literally am now of the opinion that your third striker can be anyone as long as they're really cheap. There's no third option striker that is standing out to me. There's no one I want to put my hat on. Maybe Glenn Murray, because he has popped up with goals consistently. Not the greatest of returns though, to be fair, but Quainer again does get game time, gets some assists around and stuff like that. But just pick someone and put them on your bench and just play with 2. You need the midfielders. So I am drinking just Pilsner, cheap Pilsner, because I'm cheap. I've got a kid. I've got to spend all my money on my kid. So kid and YouTube, that's pretty much what my money goes on. So TP Football Analysis birthday tomorrow. There's the birthday I saw. Happy birthday for tomorrow. I would have streamed tomorrow actually, which is a shame because it would have been good to stream on your birthday, mate. But Thursday is mine and the wife's day to watch Death in Paradise, a UK show for those of you that don't live in the UK, of a detective in San Marie, which is an island in Barbados, I want to say. Not Barbados, in the Caribbean. We enjoy watching that and trying to guess who the killer is before it's revealed. And we also watched Hunted, which is a TV show where 10 people go on the run from ex-police, ex-army, all that kind of stuff, and try and not get caught in the UK for 10 days. No, 30 days. And then they got to get to an extraction point at the end of that 30 days, and they win money if they manage it. We both really enjoy those shows. There's certain shows, Game of Thrones is another one, that we will sit and watch together. And so I'd rather those nights are still kept special. Or not kept special, but we watch it when we can, straight away. Because now, thanks to my job being closer to home, I'm home in time for these shows as well, which is nice. Seb, I get my stats from Fantasy Football Scout, a great website. It is a membership website, so you do have to pay for a yearly membership, but I think it's worth every little bit. If you take a game seriously like Fantasy Premier League, then I pay, like, I think it's £12.50 or £15 for the year, and I do that once a year. And I know some people are like, oh, you're paying for stats, you can get them from somewhere else. But they're focused towards Fantasy Premier League. There's also articles as well. There's lots of great things on that website. And to be honest, people spend 50 quid or more on FIFA. People spend 30 quid, 40 quid on Football Manager for a year's worth of entertainment. And I love Fantasy Premier League, so I don't see an issue with spending 15 quid on getting my stats from a reliable source. Sorry, the wife is just messaging me. Apparently Goldberg is on the Goldbergs, which is interesting for those wrestling fans out there. Michael Foley's in the chat. How you doing, Michael? Steve Shotton, Salah to Real Madrid and Bale to Man United this window. I've not heard anything about Salah, but that would be a real shame. But it also means I'd get some profit to spend. Because if Salah moves from Liverpool, which I don't think he will, not 6 months in, a bit like the Harry Maguire situation, do you really go to a club and only play for half a season? So I doubt those moves are going to go through. Bale's always rumoured to move, so I'll believe it when I see it happen. What about Cenk Tosun? Well, let me have a look. I usually leave this for videos, my series where I do an analysis on a player moving into the league, but why not do a live one? So I don't know much about Tosun. I've not done my homework on him yet, but he's 26 years of age. Let's have a look at his match stats. Okay, so from a glance, this season in the Turkish league he's got 8 goals and 1 assist from 12 games, which isn't bad at all. In the Champions League, 4 goals, 2 assists from 5 games. The season before, 29 appearances, 20 goals, 5 assists. Then you've got the season before that in the Turkish league, a lot of sub appearances. So it's the last 2 seasons he's come to the forefront looking at these stats. If we go to offensive stats and focus on shots per game, this season at 3.2, which isn't bad. Key passes isn't that great though. 2.8 was his shots per game last season. So you'd expect him to score more than 20 goals this season. He's already scored 8. So that's potentially 12 plus goals for Everton if he hits the ground running. The reason I don't go for players that have moved club is I don't know, 1, if they'll adapt to the Premier League well. 2, Turkish League is not the Premier League. I'm sorry for any Turkish League fans. It's not. Premier League is one of the best leagues in the world. And whilst I say that, there's still a big difference between playing in England, Spain, Italy or Germany. 1, you've got to adapt to the culture. Are you happy to live in that country? 2, you have to adapt to the kind of football that is played. So there's a reason you don't get many English players doing that well abroad. And there's a reason you get some players coming from certain leagues don't do that well. So I will not be looking at him until I see some stats from his appearances in the Premier League. I do break that rule sometimes. I did for Salah because he was doing really well in Italy and he had played in the Premier League before. I did break it for Ibrahimovic, but I think when you get to a player of that kind of level, they're probably going to be decent. So, yeah. I do break it sometimes, but generally I don't bring in someone that is new to the league. Andy Carroll as a third striker is a decent shout. I just feel like right now, because the way the points are being scored, that Andy Carroll is just a little too expensive. And that's surprising to say at 5.8 million. But I'd like to save that money and put it elsewhere. Like, I feel like I can get more points than Andy Carroll can get by bringing in a better midfielder, if that makes sense. And this goes against everything I've preached about formations, because there's in pre-season I did a formations video, said 3-4-3 is the best. Everyone kept saying to me, what about this, what about that? And I was like, historically 3-4-3 is the best. This year it's not. Kiko Dantes, yes, would love to see Bale at United. Salah would be amazing anywhere too. I think Salah needs to put in a couple of seasons at Liverpool. If I move to a club and they give me a platform, and this is why I have a real problem with Dimitri Payet, is West Ham gave him a chance to up his profile. And up his profile he did. Don't get me wrong, that was all him. He played amazing for a season. But then at least show that club some respect by putting in 2 or 3 years for them. Don't straight away move. Like, that club gave you the chance. They saw something in you, gave you an opportunity, had faith in you. At least give them 2 to 3 seasons before you start thinking of moving. Don't go somewhere and only plan to be there a year, because I don't think that's fair on the club, especially if they're paying a significant amount of money for you. I know they might be making profit off of your sell, but still, I think you should at least see out a certain amount of your contract. Rooney or the next Everton striker? I mean, Everton's fixtures are moving towards the bad again. Tottenham, West Brom, Leicester, Arsenal, Palace. So I wouldn't be bringing in any of their strikers. Also, Rooney, is he going to continue his form? I'm not too sure about that. Another hoops only keeping Morata because the fixtures are good. And TP football analysis: De Gea, Pope, me, Otamendi, Christensen, Daniels, and Mbemba. And Mbemba can go. Daniels, Bournemouth defence isn't great. Sterling, Gross, Lingard, Salah, Moy, Firmino, Kane, and Austin. Apart from Austin, who to change around. I'll be looking at Gross. Moy probably is alright for the moment. And Mbemba, if you can change him, but because he's so cheap, you may just want to keep him. Otherwise, the team's pretty solid. Actually, because I didn't see enough of this, can we get some birthday cakes in the chat for TP Football? What's your chip strategy, JNO? My chip strategy, if everything goes to plan, it's always the same. Wildcard early to try and make as much money out of your team and get the good players in early. Didn't work this year. So maybe next year I'll revise that strategy for the first wildcard. Second wildcard, unless I need to, don't play it until the double game weeks so I can take advantage of the double game weeks. The free hit chip being brought in means I will use that in the blank game week. I think it's perfect for a blank game week where you literally just play a team that has players playing in that game week, and you don't have to plan it ahead and bring players in slowly over the weeks for that blank game week. So that is what my free hit will be for. My triple captain, I play it when I think there's a player with a double game week who has pedigree against two easy opponents. I used it on Kane, it didn't work. Last year I used it on Aguero, it didn't work. I think it was game week 27 or 28, didn't work. Or 29. But that is generally my strategy with triple captain. Then bench boost is used on a double game week. So the wild card will be played just before the double game week, the second wild card, and then bench boost will be played on the double game week. Usually by that point, I've got enough players in that will start both games. That's not always the case. But I'm just spreading my bets around. There is a theory that you should just play it when you think your bench will get points, which is a good strategy, but by that point I've built my team around the whole concept of taking advantage of that bench boost. Janova Jacobson's bench players: Duffy, Bardsley, MacArthur, Obiang, Ayew. Who to keep, who to kick out. If that's Swansea's Ayew, I'd say that's fine. If it's Adrian Ayew, I'd say you don't really need him on your bench. Obiang's okay. MacArthur's okay. I think they're cheap enough. Bardsley, Duff, like, as long as they're playing and you think they have some point potential every now and again, then they're okay on the bench. TP, I didn't go and watch Spurs versus Wimbledon. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the day off work. I do work weekends, so unfortunately I did miss out on that. The fact that we lost 3-0 means I'm not too upset that I missed it, but it would have been nice to go Wembley again to see the Dons. Siraj, I know Chelsea are really playing bad, but the thing is, and I'm getting updates on my phone, if you're wondering how I'm seeing what's going on, but I have a bet on Chelsea as well today, so I'm a bit disappointed at the moment. I was hoping they'd do something just because they might want to win something this year, but never mind. I remember being a student, Siraj, studying, and sleep pattern is mental as well. Chaos in a live stream. How you doing, Chaos? Glad to see you. London Derby is boring. Okay, that's a nice message. Thanks for Thomas McCarthy for sorting that one from Keemstar. But it's good. Seeing the haters in the chat means I'm obviously getting somewhere again. Arsenal holding without Sanchez and Özil. Oh, okay, holding in the game. I thought you meant the player holding. Another Hoops has got Foster in goal. TP, no one cares about the EFL Cup. Bristol City will probably win it. You know what? I hope they do win it. I think that would be good for them. I think that would be good for them. Sorry guys, just quickly responding to something. Okay, sorry, this is taking longer than I thought. If I knew it was going to take this long, then I wouldn't have done it. Anyway, that's closed now. Özil will not be going to United. I don't think he will be. I don't think he has the work rate, really. Van Dijk is overrated. To be honest, I'm waiting to see. I think he is decent. He does have some stats that put him very highly amongst defenders. But he's not the best defender in the league, in my opinion. But he does have leadership qualities when he's bothered. So it might help Liverpool out. Ismail Mayet, rate my team. Edison, Jones, Alonso, Bellerin, Mustafa, Aguero, Eriksen, Pogba, De Bruyne, Özil. I like the team. Eriksen might be a bit expensive compared to other options you could have right now. I also think Edison's not worth having. You either have De Gea or you have a cheaper player, in my eyes. Wow, I've completely lost my place in the chat. TP, rip anyone that had Coutinho in the team. I said it. I'm sure I said it for a good month. That bringing in Coutinho was dangerous because you're forcing your hand with a transfer. Don't get me wrong, he was one of the best players to have through December. But I knew there was a good chance he'd be moving, so I thought I'm not going to force myself to make a transfer that I don't want to make. So that is why I kept with Salah and Firmino, because they were benefiting off of Coutinho anyway. I am now worried a little bit about Firmino and Salah's output, because Coutinho is a great player. Don't get me wrong, Coutinho's a great player. And I personally, if I was building my own side, would pick Coutinho over Salah and Firmino. But that is just the way I look at it. I think he's one of those players that can just create moments of magic regularly. But yeah, I severely doubt that. But never mind. Sorry, I'm just reading some of the messages that these trolls are putting in the chat. What do I think of Sane and Sterling double up? I personally don't think Sane's a must-have right now. Although I do think he's definitely got potential to return to the form he had. But I just don't see the need to bring in Sane. Sterling you need to have right now. He just gets into the right areas to score goals regularly. Rojo and Shaw I'm after bringing in. Not happy now for doing it. Shaw's always a risk because when Young comes back, Young was actually playing really well in that position. So who knows who's going to play there. Other than that, Rojo, I feel like Jones is the guy to have. Hope your favourite Norwegian team is Bodo Glimt. I have heard of them. I probably said it wrong. Just in the Premier League of Norway. Season starts in March. I should have added Norway to my Football Manager game, shouldn't I? I don't know if I can still. But that would be an interesting series still. I've never managed on Football Manager in Norway. Brendan Smith, do you think the bonus points price rise is decided by Mark Southerns and the Scoutcast crew? It always seems to help them. Not really. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm aware that some of them have contacts in the Premier League. But they probably just pick players that they know have bonus point potential. So I wouldn't say it always favours them. You've got to understand, these guys get to do it, like, focus on Fantasy Premier League more than I do. And I do it a lot, but I have a job to do, I have a family, or that. For some of them, it's their job to focus on Fantasy Premier League. I would love that. So they are going to pick up on points that some of us just do not see. That's the way it is. So I don't believe that they decide bonus points at all, because how they've got to justify those bonus points. And price rises are decided in a simple mathematic way, and everyone can see the price rises. If you go to FPL statistics, you can see it there. So that's what I'd say about that. Chrissy187, surely put Salah in case he starts. Most likely Salah will be in there, because Salah could explode anytime. Think of getting Coutinho. That's funny, Thomas. Siraj. My captain for this week. Probably going to be Harry Kane. Purely because I can't think of anyone else to put it on. Tottenham against Everton. Spurs are at home for that one. Yeah. Just there's no other option that stands out to me right now. I can't pick someone from the Man City Liverpool game because I just don't know which way it's going to go. Tommy B's going to swap Eriksen for Salah for the next game week. That sounds like a good shout for me. I would worry about Coutinho not being there, but I still think they could get goals. Is it safe to keep Alonso, Hazard, Morata even though they have a hectic fixture list? I would say Alonso is safe. Hazard and Morata. Morata has the potential to be rested. Hazard, I think if he can play, he will. Jamal Francis watching from Barbados. Nice, man. Nice to see how global I'm getting. Shawnee Boy 2286. Hey Geno, got KDB and Otamendi, and Mahrez. Is it worth upgrading to Sterling from Mahrez? That's a difficult one. I'd say Sterling's definitely worth bringing in. Definitely. Mahrez, Leicester don't have an easy run of fixtures, but he has continued to score points. I would personally bring out Mahrez purely because I know Sterling isn't moving from Man City. Kariolu, what's my favourite formation for FPL this season? I'd probably say 4-4-2, but that was because my squad didn't have a good fifth midfielder at the time for most of this season. It could easily change to 3-5-2 very soon. Apparently we got Mark Southerns in the chat. I'm not too sure if that's actually Mark Southerns. That doesn't sound like the Mark Southerns I've spoken to, but Byrie Beckford, did you watch the FA Cup draw? My local team, Newport County in League 2, 10 minutes from me, drew Tottenham at home. Okay, that's good to hear. Hopefully you can do better than my team did, Byrie. I should like save these messages from George and Mark Southern and like do a reading mean chat comments as a video. Is Hunted on once a week? I believe it is on once a week every Thursday. Yeah, that's unfortunate, TP. I'd have much preferred Fleetwood game with Leicester. Apparently, St. Tucson is in FPL at 7.5 million. Let's have a look, shall we? There he is. 7.5 million. To be honest, that's too expensive for me to consider for now. Another hoops. As long as Everton get pens, then that's good. If he's good at penalties. JNO is catching up, ask questions. Siraj, you should be going to bed or studying. Jaden XK Forbes. Regards to Kenny, Ward, Mariappa and Long. My defence is shambles. Kenny's not too bad. Ward, if that's the Burnley one, I'm not sure he's been playing. Mariappa is decent as a cheap option. Long, you need some more expensive options in there, to be fair. Rumours is Nias is off to a club he will start at. I've heard rumours of West Brom and other places. Potentially, it depends how many chances the team he goes to creates. Jamal Rice is in the chat. How you doing, Jamal? Dinesh L, Lingard, Salah, Son, Sterling are my midfielders. Should I replace Arnautovic with Mahrez? But to go that, I need to replace De Gea to Adrian. I would keep De Gea. Now that you've got him, I would just keep him. Nah, Siraj, I think De Gea... Actually, no. I think potentially you're right, Siraj, because I'm not sure De Gea will get the saves he got during that period again. I think there was just a period where Man United had a lot of fixtures where a lot of shots were taken against them and De Gea saved them all. I don't think that will happen again, so potentially get the money you've made off De Gea to bring in Mahrez. JP43 next week. Do I get rid of Morata and Calvert for Aguero and Quainer? And sorry, just to say, those guys that think trying to get me for Fantasy Football Scout are more professional than me. I drink on my stream. Do you think I'm going for professional? Really? I just thought that was kind of funny that they think I'm trying to be professional while I'm drinking alcohol. Anyway, I would say yes, JP43, purely because... So you just hear another beer opening. Aguero should be nailed on unless Sanchez is played in the same position. Because I think Guardiola tried two up front and has decided against it. So I think he's now going to keep playing one up front because the way they've played has obviously been working very well in the Premier League. I would say Aguero could be nailed on for the month. Quainer is a decent 4-however million midfield striker he is now, that facilitates you picking other strikers. So I'd say yes. Who replaced Rooney? Is Rooney your second or third striker, Thomas? Because if he's your third striker, I'll just go as cheap as possible and beef up your midfield. Seeing Chelsea like that, I might sell him. Chelsea, the thing is, Chelsea's fixtures look amazing. Nothing that they've done has made me go, I need a Chelsea player. There are the birthday cakes for TP. Thomas McCarthy, favourite pizza? Oh, that's a difficult question, my friend. I mean, there's toppings that are my favourite, but I'd like to consider myself, as has been said in the chat by some haters, I'm a bit of a pizza connoisseur. I love pizza. My daughter loves pizza, so yeah. There's toppings that are my favourites. Any sort of meat is decent. I do like mushrooms. I do like onions. I do like some sweet corn. I do like veg on it as well. I like all different sorts of cheese. There's no way I could give you a favourite pizza at all. Favourite takeout? It would... Again, that's impossible. It's what I fancy. There isn't a takeout I probably don't like. There we go. Found a place in the chat. I've already answered that one, I think. Yeah, Sarah just said be patient. How close is it? Jeff Holt is in the chat. How you doing, Jeff? What you drinking? What's Maria drinking as well? Maitland-Niles is an option. If Sanchez moves and Özil moves and you don't see anyone brought in, potentially is an option. I would never look at Maitland-Niles until he got a significant amount of game time and I was confident he was a first team player. Because even if he comes in for a short period of time, how long is he actually going to stay there? 90 minutes, 53. 3 minutes and then 90, 90, 90. But as a cheap midfielder, fine. But I still don't think I've seen enough to be confident he's nailed on. Should I get Pope for De Gea to free up some funds? That's if you think you need the funds. But I would say yes. I'd say you got on De Gea train or bandwagon at the right time, made your money, get rid of him now, improve your team elsewhere, and enjoy the benefits of that extra money. Chances of Ramsey and Quainer playing Game Week 23, if you're asking injury-wise, as far as I can tell, Ramsey has a thigh injury, 25% chance of playing, so Arsene Wenger said he could target Chelsea in the League Cup, but that was a while ago, and I believe he's not playing. I don't know that for definite. As far as Quainer goes, 50% he's currently being assessed. There's no official return date, so we don't know for definite. I know that's the problem with injuries. People ask me questions about injuries. I cannot be certain about anything. Don't worry. I know Hereford isn't in Wales. I did used to holiday in Wales, though, with my family when I was a youngster, so... Dinesh, I would say potentially Aguero could be a good shout. But to be honest, the midfielder scoring so many points, do you really need him? That's a bit of a risk, though, to be fair. Evening, Gordon. How you doing? Calvert-Lewin, I said for a while I don't think he'll continue to keep scoring, but there's always the potential to come back to the forefront for a bit. Jeff Holt, one question tonight. Looking to get Lingard as per rest of the world. My current midfield is Hazard, Salah, Sterling, Son and Arnautovic. Which one out of that stick out without Lingard? I would say Son, because Spurs fixtures get tough. Although Spurs have good fixtures for the next two, I think. Everton, Southampton, but then it's Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal. I would say if you can wait, Son, but if you can't wait, I'd say Hazard. Like, form-wise, Arnautovic is better than Hazard. Son stands out as the most logical choice because of the fixtures. So I'd say it's all about if you want to take the risk or not. Hazard has fixtures, great fixtures. Arnautovic has great fixtures. Sterling and Salah I wouldn't touch until they start to stop scoring. So for me, it's between Hazard and Son and Arnautovic. So do you want to go with fixtures or form is what I'd say to you, Jeff. Get Pogba or Arnautovic or Sterling for Martial. I really feel like Martial could be a great asset, but just one day I think we could all be like, why we need Martial on our side, because I think Martial's a great player. But JP43, my team: Pope, Elliott, Alonso, Jones, Lascelles, Kenny, Mariappa, Salah, Sterling, Son, Arnie, Loftus-Cheek, Morata, Kane, Calvert-Lewin, bringing Aguero for Morata next week. Aguero for Morata is a good move. Like Pope, Elliott, he's messing a lot of us up. Alonso, Jones, Lascelles, Kenny. I'm not a fan of a Newcastle defender or a Watford defender. Midfield looks cool to me. I personally think having 5 good midfielders is a necessity though, so I think you can do better than Loftus-Cheek. Oh, Jeff, do you want to be my PR man? Haters should be called statues because you know what birds do on statues. That's it. They're all statues. All haters are now statues. I'm going to have to make a new t-shirt now with a statue with birds doing what they do on statues. Going the flock. Yeah, I'll think of something clever. I like that. That is good. Every time a hater comes in the chat, is there a statue emoji? If there is, someone try and find a statue emoji, because I think I'm now like random emojis popping up in my thing. Yeah, if there's a statue emoji, we should be using that. If not, as soon as I get another sponsor, I can make emojis for those guys to use. So I will make a statue emoji. See you later, Siraj. Thank you for joining the stream. Siraj, I'm just reading people saying bye to Siraj. Captain Kane, same procedure as every week. I'm one of those players that can't just put it on one player over and over again. Just find it difficult. Aguero's a decent shout if you think Man City are going to beat Liverpool. I don't know what's going to happen in that game, so I'm going Kane. What are your thoughts on Van Dijk? Opinion, good option, goal threat and good defender. Everything you said there is true. I just want to wait and see what he's like at Liverpool. So I don't want to jump on it too soon. But otherwise, yeah, you're right. You're right. Van Dijk is a decent defender. Good goal threat. Should improve Liverpool defence. I know for ages I said we're bad, but turns out they're not. That's interesting. No, fair play, Thomas. I see why you've done that. Jeff, Holt and Maria are ill. Thoughts go out to you by the looks of it. Mostly drinking cough medicine. Still alcohol in that though. Sometimes. So don't drink too much. I feel like I need Lukaku versus Stoke even though I already have Aguero and Kane. Sometimes there's going to be a fixture that you just can't do anything about. And that's one of those. I really still don't feel like long-term Lukaku is a good option. Statues must leave the chat. I'm calling them statues now. I'm sold on that. They hate seeing people be more successful than them. You know what? At the end of the day, I know I'm not the biggest channel ever. But the fact that if I really think about it, 4,000 plus people have said, yes, I want to watch his videos at one point. And every now and again, when I can get a video done early enough, about 4,000 people watch one of my videos. That's more than go to my local team's games. So they can hate all they want. It bothered me the first time it happened just because I wasn't expecting it. Caught me off guard, but hate is hate. And when hate is hate, it means you're doing alright. So it's a good sign. Man, you were looking at Lucas Moura. I remember when they looked at him initially. He could be great. Very Scott Pace, Brazilian winger in the Premier League. Could do really well. Might not do, though. Jeff Holt. Maria's found a glass with the Bron comment on, but she's but she's very tempted to buy it, but too scared to take it to work. Just buy it for the house. Drink it when you're watching the stream, Maria. Nkudu moving to Burnley. Again, it's one of those I need to wait and see. There's potential there, depending on his price, because he'll transfer his price over from the Spurs team, won't he? And I'm presuming that's pretty low, because the likelihood of him playing was low. Where is he? Is he not in the game? Well, I hope they don't give him a beefed up price because of that. I was hoping he's in the game and they'd give him a low price. That is a potential, but Burnley aren't the best team for attacking threat, really, in my eyes. So it's something I'll keep an eye on, but not jump on. Is Salah fit for the game week? It's still up in the air. We're only going to know very close to the deadline, to be fair. Paul Giddy watching stream at his work again. I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble, but thank you for the support. Really could do with Arsenal getting to the final, so I don't have to worry about the potential game week blank. That's a good way of looking at games in the Carabao Cup and other hoops. Oh, Oracle of FPL is so... I really wish I could tell you, but nothing. I've not seen anything that lets me know for definite. Like, he's 75%. Like, I really think they're going to play him. Like, my guess is they're going to play him. I'm saving more transfers till double game week. If you're saving your chips for double game weeks, that's fine, Ismail. But you can't save your transfers. You can only save up to 2 max. Then you lose 1 every time you keep going without using a transfer. J&O, are you still in the cup? I am still in the cup. This is the furthest I've ever gone in the cup. And I literally spat that sentence. Apologies. But I won in Game Week 22, 48 to 44. I'm now playing this guy, who is 112,000th in the world. And he has, well, at least his team for last week was De Gea, Otamendi, me. So I have those 2. I don't have De Gea. So ideally I want Stoke to score at least 1. He's got Alonso, which is worrying, and Azpilicueta. So 1 goal against Chelsea will ruin that. But Alonso, of course, can score. Ricardo, Moyes, Grosh. That midfield to me looks weak. Like, those are the good, cheap midfielders. But where's his big midfielders? He does have Aguero and Firmino. Who knows how that game is going to go? He has Rooney. I fancy my chances against him. He scored 37 in the last game, which means I'd have beaten him. It would be absolutely amazing if I could win this cup. Like, 1, it would give me a nice day out with the wife. 2, it would give me good vlogging content. And 3, it would just be something I could plug the hell out of on this channel. Like, I'm an FPL Cup winner. That would be massive. If I still keep going, I may change the way I play the game to try and win the cup, which could affect my rank. But you know what? This is the first time I've ever got this far in the FPL Cup. Shawnee Boy, it's got Ryan, Otamendi, Jones, Alonso, Masaka, Sterling, Salah, Lingard, Arnautovic, KDB, Kane, Lone Striker subs, Adrian, Tark, Quiner and Nias. To be honest, Lone Striker would have worked for you really well, so I can see why you've done it. Midfield is good. I can't see anything wrong with the team apart from maybe Masaka. Statue of Liberty. That's a decent one, TP. That's a decent one. Ryan, I'm not too sure of. I think Pope would be a better choice, but the price difference may be in effect now. Paul Giddy, thoughts on Lingard for captain this week? I wouldn't be captaining Lingard. As much as I like him as an option right now, he doesn't scream captain choice to me just yet. Will Jones be locked on? I imagine so. I don't think he's carrying any sort of knock. And when he can play, generally he plays. Hey JNO, in the foreseeable future, what could I change here? Foster? You could change Foster. You could change Elliott. Those aren't keepers I like. I feel like you need to change your keepers. Fernandez, Swansea, I wouldn't go near right now. Other than that, I'd say that is where you really need to focus. Morata, you could potentially pick someone cheaper and then have money to improve elsewhere. But really don't like Fernandez and your two keepers. I mean, Chelsea's fixtures are great in other hoops. So I can see why you're reluctant to let go of Morata. But I would definitely say that is where the place I would get your money from. TP, it's been a while since you called a potato, JNO. I know, exactly. They could at least keep stuff going. Like, pick an insult and keep it going, because then we can use it. Like, there's a YouTuber that's part of Team 10 called Erica Costello who has a nickname. I'm not going to call her it. I personally don't like Team 10. I don't like the pools at all. But still, at least when you throw hate at someone, use the same thing over and over again. It might stick, and then it can benefit everyone. I need to make a naked Roman emoji statue. I can do that. I just need one more sponsor and I can start, like, I can give those two people all sorts of emojis. City to demolish Liverpool or vice versa. That's the thing. I don't know which way that game's going to go. I feel like it could be a lot of goals because Liverpool can counter and Man City's game relies on a very high defensive line. So I see goals in it. I just don't know who's going to win. Thank you, Another Hoops. I appreciate it. If I win the cup, I doubt it, because I get the feeling that, I mean, it would definitely help me in the pre-season hype if I could put winner of the FPL Cup. But other than that, I don't think it would bring in, it would get me interviews and stuff, and maybe like with bigger websites and such, which would be great. I'm not sure how good it will be until the pre-season, where I could just, every video I'd be like, welcome to FPL today, I'm JNO, winner of the FPL Cup last season. That's probably how the intro would go. Ismail Mayer, I've been trying to find that out ever since I've started to do decent in the Cup. I don't know how many rounds it is. Probable price rises and fallers for tonight. No one is 100% set to rise in price tonight. We have Adrian close at 98.9%. We got Pope close at 98.7%. McBurney from Swansea, 98.4%. Joel Pereira has always seems to be there, but never really goes up. So I wouldn't worry about him. Son, 98.1%. Alexander Arnold, 98%. But no one looks certain to go up. As far as going down, again, no one's certain. But Ward from Burnley is very close, 99.9%. So that could be tonight. Elliott, Newcastle, 99.2%. Calvert-Lewin, 99.1% to go down. Forster, 98.7%. Salah, 98.7%. Delph, 98.3%. Davis from Southampton, 98% to go down. So there's some more likely more players going down than up. Gordon Gilbert is back. Nice to see you back in the chat. I hope I win the cup as well. I really do. 66,000 people left. I can't believe. I'm almost in the top 1% of players in the FPL Cup. That's another thing I can plug. Ismail Mayer, if I'm in the final and I have a chip, I will play it. I will do whatever I can to win the cup. If I'm ever in the final, I'll play what I have to win that. And then just, I'll accept what happens to my rank. Jaden, I can't say the bit at the end of your name. Forbes. Lingard and Martial double up going to be deadly. Another hoops, I know the Chelsea fixtures are your issue right now. If Chelsea had difficult fixtures, it would be easier for you. Should I take out Ali and RLC for Lingard and Arnautovic? RLC I'm not a massive fan of. He can definitely still score points. Ali, the fixtures will get tough eventually, so I like Lingard and Arnautovic. So I would potentially go for that and then go with a 5-man midfield. Ismail Mayet, that is true. TP Football Analysis, JNO's opinion on Fantasy Premier League tips. That's the one that doesn't do his own content, just in case. Yeah, Daraj, I've seen that actually as well. That is really good. I'm enjoying that on Twitter. Hopefully we don't face each other until the final, at least. I'll tell you what, Daraj, if you win the final, if you're in the final against me, I will take you instead of my wife. Hopefully she won't kill me for that. But if we play each other in the final, what a story that would be. See you later, Thomas. To be honest, I'm probably ending the stream very soon. Toxic Gamer 1, you're sick, bro. Thank you very much, my man. Thank you very much. Ismail Mayet, is it worth us on playing my wildcards? Not when there's not that much time. You won't get the benefits from it. There used to be the strategy during a game week where there was an international break where you would do that and try and get as much profit as possible, but it's not really worth it anymore. Well, hopefully another hoops I can get in on that interview. I hate it should be the Venus de Milo as they're armless. Oh, Jeff. You're the pun king, my man. You're the pun king. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call the end of the stream here at 1 hour 13 minutes. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. As always, your support has been immense. Next stream, there probably won't be one before the game week begins. I'm working a lot next week, so I don't know yet, which I know is really annoying. I will try and do it as early as possible, and as soon as I know, I will try and tweet about it. But I don't know, so sorry, TP. Exactly, Daraj, exactly. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the stream, as always. Wind from drinking alcohol. You guys have been absolute legends. If you do want to support the channel, again, check out the links in the description down below. Got a bunch of you that are Patreons, and we've got Blessing and Rolo, who is a sponsor. So appreciated. Of course, there's also Super Chat, and there's the merch you can buy if you do fancy to wear the Flock t-shirt. I've appreciated all your guys' support for all of this season. It's been great how these streams have taken off, so thank you guys so much. Catch you later, Daraj. Catch you later, Jeff. Catch you later, Toxic Gamer. There's your shout out. Catch you later, Jamal Rice, Gordon Gilbody. Catch you later. To the haters, you've now got a new name, your statues, and the flock flies over and does certain things to you. Yvant, oh wow! Sorry, just quickly before I end the stream, Yvant, I'm not going to say your surname because I haven't said it in so long that I probably can't say it anymore. I went to uni with this guy and lived in a house with him. So amazing that he's joined in on the chat. Can we have some hearts in the chat for someone from my past, from uni? I know a bunch of you are probably already gone. But Yvant is an absolute legend. So some hearts in the chat for Yvant. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Hopefully you're subscribed, of course. If you're not, we're going to have some words. But anyway, that is the end of this stream. Thank you guys so much. This has been FPL Today. I've been JNO. I think I did that in the wrong order. But remember, it's all about the game.